What's up, you guys? It's Graham here. So it's no surprise that there's been a lot of talk lately about the real estate market potentially softening. Some markets are seeing an increase in inventory, fewer sales, and with that, sellers will inevitably have to lower their price to attract a smaller pool of buyers. Now, some markets might be hit harder than others, and other markets could see no difference whatsoever and just continue to increase in price. But regardless of this, I have to say, if the real estate market crashes, it makes zero difference to me. I do not care whatsoever. You shouldn't care either, and this is why. Now, before you think I'm absolutely crazy and I've gone off the wall for saying something like this, because pretty much 85% of my net worth is tied up in real estate. I make my main source of income working as a real estate agent, so you gotta say I'm pretty reliant on real estate for all my money and all of my net worth. Just hear me out on this one because I promise it should make some sense. And also from my perspective, real estate tends to do better during a recession, and I end up making even more money as the market goes down. So I'll explain my reasoning shortly. So just as some background here for those just tuning in, I started my career in real estate in like May of 2008. I literally started my career in real estate at the height of the market. And the next subsequent 4 years in the business were during one of the worst housing markets we have ever seen, and during one of the worst recessions that many of us have seen in our lifetimes. And when I started my career out of high school with zero money and zero experience, I witnessed things firsthand go from good to bad to really bad to back to really good again. I remember a time where listings would actually read standard sale, no short sale approval required, which was a rarity because you were up against tens of hundreds of short sales in every single market. And this meant that because it was a standard sale, you can actually close on it within a reasonable amount of time and move in. And this was a huge rarity and upsell for any houses that were owned by the owners and not owned by the banks. I also remember a time where to price a listing, you had to look at all the foreclosures in the area and price them in line with a short sale or bank-owned property, because simply if you didn't do that, no one was even going to look at your home. I was in the trenches for the first 4 years of my career during one of the worst housing markets when people were losing their jobs, losing their properties, no one could sell their home, there were thousands of homes on the market and only a few hundred buyers even buying them. This was the start of my real estate career. I experienced the worst of the worst. I remember seeing properties that had sold in 2005 for $2 million, and now you can buy them for like $700,000. I remember properties in South LA that were selling for like $600,000, and now you can buy it for like $170,000. It was nuts. Even the house I bought, it was valued at $260-something thousand in 2005. I bought it for $59,500. And now that we're in an entirely different market, I definitely see things from a different perspective. I think one of the biggest concerns that people have right now is fairly surface level. It's the fact that I don't want to buy a property at $600,000 and a year later it's worth $500,000. I don't want to lose any money. There's a lot of talk about the real estate market softening. There's a lot of talk about the real estate market going down in price, and maybe we're going to see another recession. So you know what? I would rather just sit on the sidelines and wait to see what happens. Honestly, I don't disagree with this argument whatsoever. I think it's a fair train of thought. But there are two very important factors to consider, and I hope this makes sense to you guys. So like I just said earlier, the losing money aspect of real estate is a fairly surface level concern, and this is something that, in my opinion, really ignores some of the larger aspects of investing and owning real estate. Take me, for example. I own about $3 million worth of real estate, so if the real estate market goes down in value, just like that, I've lost $300,000. But honestly, whether I have $3 million in real estate, or $2 million, or $4 million, or $5 million, or $1 million, it really doesn't make any difference to me whatsoever, and this is why. So first of all, I don't flip properties. I buy everything I own with the intention of keeping it forever. Ideally, this is something I want to give to my kids and their kids' kids and great-great-grandkids and just build the mini Graham empire. But I buy my properties pretty much with low interest, fixed rate, 30-year mortgages, and then I just rent them out. The rent is enough to cover all of my expenses and then spits out a little bit of profit every single month. I end up charging under market rent to keep my tenants happy, and in the process I have very little turnover on those properties and very little vacancy. And whenever I do have a vacancy, there's usually an immediate 10 to 20% upside in rents just by being able to re-rent it at current market values. So unless I plan to do a cash out refinance or sell the property, which like I just mentioned, I never intend to do and I never plan to do, the market value of that property to me is pretty much just useless. I don't care what the values of the properties are tomorrow or next month or next year or even 5 years from now or even 10 years from now. I care what the properties are worth 30 years from now. And 30 years from now, those mortgages will have been paid off, those properties will be owned outright, and those properties will be spitting out a ton of money. And when that happens, life is good, but also I want to mention that from my perspective, real estate actually does better during a recession. So here's what happens, and this is what's actually going on right now. So this is a perfect example of this working firsthand. People right now are getting a little bit spooked about the real estate market. They're hearing that the market is softening. They're hearing more inventory is coming in the market, and things are taking longer to sell, and fewer people are buying. So they're thinking, you know what, now is not probably the best time to buy, so I'm gonna hold off instead. I'm gonna wait for the market to drop, and then I will buy in at the bottom. And also, I think some people might be outpriced because interest rates have risen, and maybe now they can't afford the home they really want. So instead, they're thinking, we're just gonna sit back and wait. And also what I think is probably the most common is that many people are simply just fearful about investing or buying anything right now because they're afraid of the market dropping. And because of that, they just wanna wait to see how things play out. But guess what? Everyone who's not buying a place right now or doesn't own their home, instead, is renting. All those people who are fearful about buying in the market are instead right now renting. All the people who are outpriced of the market because of interest rates going up, well, guess what? They're renting. The seller who took their home off the market for rent and decided to sell it further constrains inventory for rentals, and guess what? It's pretty good for the rental market. The one thing that tends to do historically well over any sort of real estate drop or recession is rentals. Rentals are making money, and even when the market increases and all of those renters turn into buyers, even though I may have fewer renters to pick from, at the same time the market values are going up because more people are turning into buyers. So from the way I see it, either way I win. I'm either getting cash flow from rental properties or I'm getting increased property values as more of those renters turn into buyers. So why would I care if prices drop 5 to 10% next year if I'm not planning on selling, I'm not planning on doing a cash out refinance, and that just means there are more tenants looking for places to rent, which helps rental values, which is what I really care about. Values really don't affect what my long-term focus is, and building wealth has nothing to do with the prices over the next 1 to 10 years. This is also one of the reasons why I'm not even holding off from looking for another place to buy, even in this market. Now, for those that follow me on Instagram, shameless plug because I post most of this stuff on Instagram, so make sure to add me there. I posted an update the other day that I made an offer on a duplex for just over $800,000. I really don't try to time the market. I don't try to predict things that are not within my control. I don't have a crystal ball that will tell me what prices will be and what I could potentially get if things happen and if things work in my favor. I ignore all of that and I go based off what I know, which is right now the current fundamentals and cash flow. My investment in the real estate market is over 30 to 50 years. It's not over 1 to 10 years. I'm also buying into a very low fixed interest rate over the next 30 years. Getting a 30-year loan at 4.3% interest rate is absurdly cheap. One of the other loans I got was for 30 years at 3.375% interest. I mean, come on. That is just stupid low. I have a feeling that we're probably going to see savings accounts offering interest rates higher than what I'm paying on my mortgage in just another few years. Back when I was in high school, the interest rate I would get on a savings account was like 5%, which I don't think is unreasonable to happen again over the next 5 or 6 or 7 years. That means that any mortgage I get right now is going to be cheaper for me. It's going to be almost essentially free money when we're talking 10 to 15 years from now. But in the bigger scope of things, unless you're flipping real estate, which I don't recommend doing, and I have a video, I'll link to it in the description about why I don't flip real estate, trying to time the market is just a gamble. You might get lucky and get it right sometimes, you might get it wrong sometimes, but from my own personal experience, I have seen more people get it wrong than get it right. I know many people who are still waiting for the crash of real estate prices, and they've been holding off from buying since like 2013. Still waiting for that crash, which hasn't come yet. And here we are today, and they just missed out on like a 50% ROI on their investment had they just not tried to time the market. Most people never find the perfect time to buy into the market because there simply isn't a perfect time to buy into the market. It's more important that you find something with upside potential, that cash flows or the fundamentals make sense and you have the money to hold on to it long term, than it is to try to find the perfect timing in the market to right where it drops and it starts going up in value. And this part is very important. It's the most important takeaway of this entire video. If you get anything from this video, it's just this. If you can't find a good deal, don't buy something. You can very much overpay for a property in a bad market just as much as you could underpay for a property in a great market. Your individual skill set in picking properties will often be much more profitable than just whatever the market dictates. It's because of this that I don't care at all what the real estate market does in the short term. If I end up receiving 30% less rent every month, fine. I just break even, no big deal, and I hold on to it. If I end up receiving 20% more in rent, I pretty much just save and invest all of it anyway, so it's just a bit of a bonus. Either way, it's fine, and this is how I encourage you to invest as well. Simply buy and invest in something that you could afford, live below your means, buy a property that cash flows, and buy a property with a fixed rate interest rate loan, so there are no surprises about your mortgage ever fluctuating in price, and wait. Very simple stuff. If you end up finding a deal regardless of what the market is, buy it. If you can't find a deal regardless of what the market is, don't buy it. The next thing is don't buy anything on a short-term variable interest rate that could reset after like 5 to 10 years because there's no guarantee that the market will be where you want it to be then, and you don't want your payments just skyrocketing because all of a sudden interest rates went from 2.5% to now 6%, the property doesn't cash flow, you're out of pocket every month, and all of a sudden you're screwed because you didn't take into account what could happen 5 to 10 years from now that again is out of your control. Buy smart, have patience, get what you can afford, live below your means, save your money, and by doing this, any fluctuation in real estate values is not going to stress you out or worry you or concern you whatsoever. And also, I want to make a quick note to all of the real estate agents out there, especially the newer ones who may have just started over the last few years, and the last few years for real estate have been phenomenal and everyone's making money and everything's going up in value. I want to remind you that I started my career at the very top going down in the market. So my first few years as a real estate agent were just the real estate market going down. These are also some of the best opportunities for a real estate agent, and also one of the best opportunities for you to expand your business, and that is getting in leases and helping rentals. A lot of these people who aren't buying right now will instead be renting. It's a lot easier to meet and build a relationship with a rental client than it is a listing or a buyer. The reason being is that most agents don't want to work leases and don't want to work tenants simply because they don't even think about it. And also it's a lot of work and there's not a lot of money involved. The real payoff to this is many years down the line where you've built relationships with dozens or hundreds of renters that you've met and helped that all then come back to you when they want to buy. This is how I formed the foundation of my entire business. In the first few years of my career, I almost worked exclusively with tenants. I'd make it $500 here, $1,000 there, $2,000 there from doing little leases. But guess what? When the market was going back up, all of those people came to me, they referred me business, and they bought through me. It was through this that I was able to do $22 million in sales just last year, only based off referral and repeat business. And all of this business was business that I formed back in the bottom of the market when I was doing leasing. Don't be afraid as an agent to get into the trenches, to meet clients, to do leases, to build those relationships, because I promise you that will pay off 10, 20, or 30-fold as the market comes back and these people come back to you to use you because you built that relationship early on. I know I went on a totally different rant with this. But I just want to mention, if anyone is interested in learning more about this, or you're a real estate agent who's getting into the business or who just got into the business, I have a link in the description. It's called the Real Estate Agent Academy. It's something I put months into. I probably put like 8 months of work into this thing and just forever filming it. It basically is my strategy and my techniques for building my business from zero to $125 million in sales now over the last 10 years as a real estate agent, almost entirely off of repeat and referral business. So if you want to join that, the link is in the description. I'll knock 50 bucks off because of this video. It's all in the description. I'm not going to plug it too much. But anyway, you guys, I know I went off on a tangent there. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you enjoy videos like this, just make sure to give the video a like. It does really help out a lot. If you've watched all the way through and you're not already subscribed, we got to have a sit down. I realize I'm sitting down. We got to have a sit down talk here. But why you're not already subscribed, because it's so easy to do, and the best part about it is that it's free, and I post 3 videos a week. Spent forever making these videos, so if you want to be a part of it, subscribe. Also, feel free to add me on Snapchat and Instagram. I post there pretty much daily, so if you want to be a part of it there, feel free to add yourself there, and other links and stuff in the description if you guys even care for that. So anyway, thank you again for watching, and until next time.